Today I want to make a sauce bottle that actually looks nice on the table. But instead of throwing the bottle at a separate top, I'm throwing it as one piece. The stopper is the make or break detail as to whether it will pour. I'm using 600 grams of clay. It's my favourite yellow speckle mid-fired clay. The idea of making a sauce bottle in one piece is not original. I've been inspired by Alchemy Ceramics video from a few years ago. Once I've centered the clay, I push into the clay and open out. I leave about 3/4 centimetre of clay in the base. And then I can start to form the walls. I need to bring the walls up quite high as I'll need a long neck to create the stopper. So I bring the walls up to the final height. And because I have a slight ripple in the walls, I compress with a rib before collaring in. I'm just thinking about where the neck of the bottle finishes and the bottle stopper begins. The stopper will sit on top of the neck, and the stopper needs to be narrower than the neck. I haven't actually made this before, and I'm kind of working it out as I go. I form the stopper by squeezing the neck in further. And now I can close off the stopper. So I gently squeeze the clay together. I want the top of the stopper to fit out over the neck. So I shape by pressing the top of the stopper. And then I shape the neck to get the curve I'm after. Finally, I set aside to dry to leather hard. It's time to trim, and I start by cutting the stopper away. I trim and tidy a little around the neck. And then I smooth the rim. I round the base by trimming around the foot. I'm trimming right way up. I'm not going to trim a foot ring. I feel as if the form doesn't really need it. So I just run my finger around the foot and gently press into the base to create a bit of an indentation. That'll help the bottle sit better on a flat surface. And I tidy the stopper. I trim the top away. And then smooth the surface. I check to make sure the top fits. And now I trim the channel for pouring. So the idea with this bottle is that the soy sauce pours out without removing the top. So I carve away a channel in the stem of the stopper, and then I carve a channel on the underside of the stopper. I carve another channel on the other side. For sauce to pour properly, I need to allow air to flow into the bottle as sauce flows out. And then I set aside to dry fully. I make a second bottle with a different spout option. For this one, I make a more traditional small pouring spout. And I add a hole in the stopper. Once fully dry, I bisque fire. It's time to glaze, and I'm using a liner glaze on the inside of the bottles. I glaze by pouring and then pouring the glaze back out. And then I glaze the exterior by brushing. I'm using a dark charcoal glaze for the outside. To keep up to date with our many and varied videos, remember to subscribe to our channel. And feel free to like and comment below, it's much appreciated. I'm going to fire these separately as I want more of the stopper and the inside of the neck glazed. I make sure all the bases are well wiped, and then it's into the kiln for the glaze firing. My bottles are out of the kiln and it's time to make sure they work. They're easy enough to fill, but do they pour? So I try the bottle with the channel in the lid and it pours okay. The lid on this one fits really well and I can pour upside down, but the pour is a bit limited. Maybe that's the point. And now for the more traditional spout. And this one feels a little nicer to pour. And this one doesn't drip either. The hole I made in the top actually filled with glaze, so it's a bit of a rookie mistake. It doesn't seem to matter too much. Actually, I'm not sure which of these approaches I prefer. The spout was quite simple to make. The channel in the lid took a little more time and was a little fiddly. Of course, I need to test them out in a real live situation. I'm enjoying this charcoal glaze at the moment, and I think these pieces will fit with my handmade tableware. So how do I rate this method? Well, I'm not sure it's easier than making the bottle in 2 pieces, but it works, and overall I like these sauce bottles. For more one-piece making on the wheel, check out my containers with perfectly fitting lids. And as always, happy potting!